Hello everyone, my name is Vishwajit Kumar. I am a first year BTech student at CB Raman Global University, Odisha. Welcome back to our YouTube channel. We are here again to talk about a social issue, which is the right to freedom of speech. As you all know, we have introduced you to our topic in the previous video. Our motive for today is to give some insights about the problem faced when the right of freedom of speech is violated. Getting into the video, we will discussing about the solution as well. Without wasting much of your time, let's get into the video. I would like to introduce you all our first speaker who is going to give a brief introduction about our topic.
Thank you, Vishwajit, for calling me. Hello, everyone. My name is Abhilipsha, and I am here to present the introduction of our topic. As Sir John Milton, a significant English author, said, "Give me the liberty to know, to utter, to argue, freely according to conscience above all liberties." Speech is a hybrid in that it partakes of both thoughts and action. Thought is inward, silent, and concealed. So long as it remains purely inward, it has minimal effects on the world. Speech is the expression of thought, whether vocally or via the written word or other forms of communication. Messages in a bottle, on a t-shirt, or in a gesture are all forms of speech. The gradual erosion of one of our most precious fundamental rights, the absolute right to freedom of speech and expression, is leading to the gradual destruction of our human right to dissent and protest. Speech becomes a presence in the social world and can directly affect those in it. Now I would like to call upon my other teammates to take the lead and discuss about the problems and the solutions.
Hello everyone, my name is Shalvi Singh and today I'll be discussing about one of the problems faced when the freedom of speech is violated. News gathering restrictions. Some journalists have faced subversion charges for photographing and reporting on protests, while a high number are prosecuted for terrorism-related offences merely for reporting. Banning journalists from physical places such as parliament, protests, or refugee camps prevents them from directly witnessing matters of public interest. Banning journalists makes it more difficult for them to gather first-hand knowledge and report, undermining the public's right to receive information on issues of public interest. Journalists have been arrested, detained, and sentenced for a wide range of offenses, including antisocial behavior, incitement to violence, drug offenses, kidnapping, or tax offenses. Newspapers have been shut down for allegedly damaging the economy. Some websites, including search engines, have been taken to court for intermediary defamation, simply for hyperlinking to critical content on another website. In other cases, newspapers have faced legal action over comments made on their websites by the general public. Media outlets can be shut down or restricted through administrative measures. For example, sometimes license to print or broadcast are refused to prevent critical media outlets from operating. Sometimes media outlets are closed after receiving government content warnings, which are often arbitrary and used as both a threat and a method of silencing dissenting voices.
Thank you, Shalvi Singh, for calling me upon. Hello everyone, my name is Mohammed Ali and today I am going to talk about the solution of the problem news gathering restrictions. As the world becomes even more connected to our devices, they can be used to trace us. However, anonymity can be crucial for journalists and bloggers in order to do their work. Publishing anonymously or under a pseudonym can also protect journalists from being threatened, followed, arrested, and prosecuted, or hurt as a result of exercising their right to freedom of expression. Protecting journalist sources is essential for both to ensure accurate reporting and to keep journalists and their sources safe. It is extremely dangerous to press freedom for police or government to force journalists to reveal their identities of their sources. If people think information will not keep confidential, they might speak up to the press in the first place, impacting the quality of reporting and reducing press ability to be a public watchdog. Thank you. And I would like to call upon Sanskar to talk about the next problem.
Hello everyone, I am Sanskar Kumar and today I am going to talk to you about our next problem, which is physical harassment, violence and torture. Physical harassment and violence are used by state and non-state actors to silence the public and make people too afraid to report, thus creating a chilling effect. People who try to act against the government are in detention centers in various countries around the world and are subjected to cruel, inhumane and degrading treatment and torture, both crimes under international law. The kind of comment that might make a man want to throw a punch often makes a woman afraid of her safety, and so she may be unlikely to retaliate with physical force. Last year, Media Legal Defense Initiative worked on 24 cases relating to physical harassment, violence or torture in 11 countries.
Hello everyone, my name is Tejashini Priyadashini and today I am going to talk to you about the solution of the problem mentioned above. By raising awareness about the street harassment in variety of ways, from the creative direct action to calling the police, we can demonstrate the violent and inappropriate nature of verbal street harassment. Over time, we can achieve more gender equitable outcomes from our legal system, and we hope to move closer to those outcomes with guide. Exploring the balance between safeguarding freedom, expression, and protecting the honor and reputation of the person as the world becomes ever more connected to the device can be used to trace us. However, anatomy can be crucial for journalists and bloggers in order to their work. Publishing anonymously or under the pseudonym can also protect journalists from being threatened, followed, arrested, or hurt as result exercising their right to freedom of expression.
Hello everyone, my name is Pratyush and today I am going to talk to you about the next problem, criminal defamation. In many countries, journalists face criminal defamation charges, fines and prison sentences for writing or speaking critically. Even in some instances where the defamatory statement can be proven to be true, criminal defamation laws are open to abuse and are one of the leading reasons that journalists are in prison around the world. The IPC lists defamation as a criminal offense, making it punishable by fine or imprisonment, or even both. For many, criminalizing defamation is an unwarranted restriction on free speech, when the global norm is that a civil suit for damages is sufficient for protecting reputation. Whoever defames another shall be punished with simple imprisonment for a term which may extend to 2 years or with fine or with both. Criminal defamation is in news recently for multiple reasons. Questions have been raised on whether defamation should be treated as a civil wrong or criminal offense or both. It is argued that criminalizing defamation has a harass effect on the right to freedom of speech and expression provided under Article 19.
Hello everyone, my name is Pradarshini Baikran and I am going to talk to you the solution of the problem mentioned by the Pratyush. And the solution. In India, defamation is both the civil and the criminal offense. The remedy for the civil defamation is covered under the law of the torts. In civil defamation case, a person who is defamed can move either the High Court or subordinate courts and seek damages from the form of the monetary compensation from the accused. Also, under the section of 499 and the 500 of the IPC, a person guilty of the criminal defamation can sent to the jail for the 2 years. Section 499 of the Indian Penal Code 1860 IPC states that any person whose reputation has been damaged or was intended to be damaged by the material in the question has the rights to the sue for the defamation. Drafting human rights policy principles on the network neutrality to ensure the internet users to the greatest possible access to the content, application and service of their own choice. Now I would like to call upon Satyanarayan to discuss the next problem.
Thank you, Priyadarshini, for calling me. Hello everyone, my name is Satyanarayan and today I am going to discuss about the last problem of our video, which is internet shutdowns and web blocking. What if you woke up one day to find that your government had switched off the internet? Governments continue to shut down entire networks to restrict conversation, usually at key moments such as protests or elections. Politically motivated web blocking and internet slowdowns or blockouts silence people by cutting them off from the rest of the world. For media outlets, this means that it becomes almost impossible for them to operate. For citizens, this means that they can't access information freely, for instance, about what is happening in their country. Between July 2015 and June 2016, internet blockouts happened 81 times across 19 countries. In 2018, there were 188 internet shutdowns compared to only 108 in 2017. 42% of the global population live under governments that disconnected internet or mobile networks, often for political reasons, while 48% live in a country where access to social media or messaging platforms was blocked, temporarily or permanently. India's authorities are the world's biggest perpetrators of internet shutdown, while Cameroon's Anglophone regions had 230 days of shutdown between January 2017 and March 2018. Charts authorities, as well as repeatedly shutting down the internet, took their control of the communications infrastructure a step further in 2018, commandeering two mobile networks to text all users, informing them that a rumored protest was illegal. Now, I would like to call my colleague Nigar to discuss about the possible solutions of this problem.
Thank you, Satyanarayan. Hello everyone, myself Nigar Samandre and today I'm going to talk to you about the above
कोई बात नहीं फिर से करो.
Thank you, Satyanarayan. Hello everyone, myself Nigar Samandre and today I'm going to talk to you about the solution of the above mentioned problem. The most efficient solution to this problem would be the development of an open application which will detect or trace the location from where the unreliable baseless news is originated, which shall lead the higher authorities to take legal actions against the accused and withdraw the internet access of that particular area, which as a result will not affect the entire population and target a specific group of people trying to abuse the resources given to them rightfully. For individuals to fully enjoy freedom of expression and information online, the needs to be stable and open. Technical failures and international disruptions can impact access to information regardless of frontiers. Promoting the accessibility of internet content to all actual or potential users. Now I shall call upon Biswajit to conclude our video.
Thank you, Nigar. As Sir George Washington, the first former president of the United States, once said, if freedom of speech is taken away the dumb and silent, we may be led like sheep to be slaughtered. This was all about our second video. We will be back with another video discussing about the most efficient solution of the problems faced when the freedom of speech is violated. Thank you for watching. If you found the video informative, then please like, share and subscribe. And do leave your valuable comment or suggestion in the Google form attached below in the description box. Stay home, stay safe and get vaccinated. Thank you.